Hello everyone, this is part 10 of What If Naruto Was a Jonin Sensei, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. The next morning they continued the meeting. Having had some time to rest and think over the prospects facing them, they were slightly more pleasant. Thanks again for considering this. The fact that you are still here says quite a bit, Naruto said to his fellow Kages. The others nodded, accepting the Tsuchikage, who just sat listening. Naruto spoke to the older man directly. Tsuchikage-sama, last night I did not mean to insinuate other ways to run your village. I understand that your village is your business and I will not ever interfere in that, I promise that. I see, said the old man. Well, I thank you for your consideration, Hokage-sama. And after thinking about it, I have decided that I will offer my support in this campaign of yours. Thanks, said Naruto with a smile on his face. That means a lot, and I hope that eventually we can work together on other things. We may be facing a severe trial, but I see this as an opportunity to bring our 5 villages together, working together to give our children a good future. The others nodded their agreement and the Tsuchikage spoke again. I'm sorry, but I was not finished. He sighed as though he was doing something unpleasant. I was thinking about what you said. When you said that if I knew anything about the demons that might help. Well, I have some things to tell all of you. It was 2 weeks after the cage meeting was concluded. The others left for their villages after agreeing to leave the animal spirits alone whenever they should resurface. Naruto had told the Mizukage to keep an eye out for the 3-tailed turtle, Sanbi, due to that fact that hidden mist is surrounded by water and it seemed likely that it might make a home for itself there. The Mizukage assured him that his village had not used one of them in a ceiling before. He had told the Raikage to be wary of the 2-tailed cat, Nibi. Judging by how Shukaku had acted with Suna, it reasoned well that Nibi might act in a similar way. The Tsuchikage took more convincing. After a while it became clear that the stone village also never had created a Jinchuriki. The older Kage was distrusting of Naruto simply due to the fact that Naruto was, in his eyes, his own father. Everything about the young Hokage reminded the Tsuchikage of an old foe in the original Yellow Flash. The man did have some information on the spirits though. While he swore that they never sealed one, they did research all they could since they found that the Hidden Leaf village had produced its own Jinchuriki. 20 years ago they found information that the other villages all seemed to have one with the exception of Hidden Mist. At that point they sought the demons out in order to find one that might help them against their one-time foe, Konoha. Naruto was contemplating that the Tsuchikage told him. He had information on 3 of the elusive spirits' forms. He now knew what the most of them once were. They knew the forms of the 5-tailed, the 7-tailed, and the 8-tailed spirits. The 5-tailed form was that of a dog. Its name is Gobi no Hoku. It was rumored that the spirit was territorial and fierce. The location was unknown, but it seemed likely that it would return to where it was taken from by the Akatsuki. The 7-tailed name is Shichibi no Kaku and form was a badger. Not much else was found information-wise on this one, and also they only had the name and form of the 8-tailed, which name is Hachibi no Hachimata the snake. Naruto thanked the Tsuchikage for the shared information and offered his support and alliance if ever needed. Hoping that this trial might help to bring about a time of peace between the villages. Naruto was sitting in his office reading through rumored sighting reports. There was a large map of the country and outlying regions spread out on a table to the right of his desk. The map was marked heavily with X marks and circles, in different shades of ink. Shikamaru was sitting at that table poring over the map and the reports that he had received from the other villages. You know, Naruto, we are running out of places on this map where they can be hiding. Naruto looked over at the map, and his eyes narrowed at it. He then looked back at his notes and reports. Where are you? He muttered mostly to himself. They continued on in this vein for a while, well into the day, while Naruto had his clones taking care of all of the other paperwork and mission assignments. Before the end of the day there was a message received by messenger bird from the Hidden Cloud village. Naruto unrolled the scroll and read it through quickly. He then gave a booming laugh that caused Shikamaru to jump and his clones to glare at him. What is it? Asked Shikamaru. Naruto, still chuckling, handed the scroll to his chief strategist. As he read it, his expression grew more and more disbelieving. Wow, I can hardly believe it. This makes our job a bit easier though. Yeah, the Raikage's men have found and dispatched the Nibi container, Naruto smiled. His face turned serious, but we need to confirm this. With that, he bit into his thumb and went through the seals needed and summoned a small toad. Gamarichihi, I have to have you bring a message to Kawazu, okay? Sure thing, boss, replied the frog. Naruto took an empty scroll and wrote instructions to Kawazu, putting the scroll into the small pouch the frog had slung on its back. Gamarichihi disappeared. Turning to Shikamaru, he said, I guess we will wait until he gets back to me before marking that one off the list, okay? Yeah, I got it, said Shikamaru. Naruto stretched and looked over at his clones, who were just finishing with the filing. He dispelled the clones and turned back to his friend. I think that we can call it a day. Same time tomorrow. Shikamaru nodded and sealed the info that was spread out over his table, then turning to Naruto, yeah, see ya tomorrow. Naruto left the office and headed first to the ramen stand before heading home. Hey old man, bowl of pork ramen. The elderly man turned to his favorite customer, hello there, Hokage-sama. He did a slight bow. Naruto gave a look of mock outrage, you don't have to do that old man, as this was a common occurrence between the two. Naruto quickly ate his bowl and sighed contentedly, that really hit the spot. The owner asked, you really think so, Naruto? Of course. Nothing beats your ramen, old man. I'm glad you like it, Naruto-kun, said Ayami from the back. But just so you know, father was not the one who made it this time. Huh, said Naruto. Naruto, started the owner. Ayami made it this time. Really? Well then I guess good abilities can be passed down to children then, huh? Said Naruto smiling, but why have Ayami-chan prepare the food? Naruto, said the old man. I have enjoyed serving you your ramen all these years. You are a good kid. He smiled fondly. But I'm old, kid. I can't keep up with work anymore, so I decided to retire. Before doing so, we needed to make sure that our favorite customer would still be happy with a new cook. Naruto just sat there, silent for a moment. Then he finally smiled. Well, I am happy that I contributed my share to your retirement fund. He sighed, I'll miss you, old man. People may think that you are just a food vendor, but I know different. Thanks for all the good ramen over the years. And the listening ear whenever I needed it. You have no idea how much you helped me out in my life. Naruto reached over to shake his hand. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, kid. And good luck with everything. I'm sure that I'll see you around. The old owner went to the back. One more then, he said to Naruto. I'm going to fix up one last bowl of my special for you, won the house. Naruto grinned. Wow, thanks a lot, old man. Naruto looked outside, after he finished that bowl, and saw that the sun was starting to set. Well, thanks for everything, old man. But I got to be getting home. The owner smiled and waved to him, and his daughter called out, tell Hinata-chan hello for us. Will do, and thanks for the food. Hinata was in the hospital. In the room Sakura was examining her. Hinata had been feeling ill and needed to be checked out. When Sakura was done, she looked up at her friend. Well, Hinata, there is a reason that you are ill. Congratulations, you're pregnant. Hinata was not surprised, but instead she smiled. I thought so, I wanted to be sure before I got my hopes up again. Sakura smiled at her, I'll want to see you in a couple weeks. It is still too soon to tell the gender, but it seems normal at this stage. Thank you, Sakura-san, it goes without saying, but I would prefer to keep this quiet for now, okay? Said Hinata. The medic Nin nodded sadly, I understand, after all since before, she then brightened, well, I'm sure Naruto will be happy. Hinata said, yeah, I know he will be. Naruto got home and did not feel his wife's presence anywhere in the house. He figured that she must be out with friends or her family's home. He went to their bedroom and putting his robes in with the laundry wrapped a towel around his waist. He made his way to the backyard where he would soak in the private onsen. As he relaxed, there were many thoughts going through his head. He tried to empty it, which proved easy when he was a kid, but now was a difficult task to do. Some time after he was soaking, he felt someone entering the house. Figuring it to be Hinata, he stayed where he was. And soon Hinata did walk out of the back door and over to Naruto soaking. Naruto smiled as he looked up at her standing behind him. Hey Hinata-chan, come on, water's always good, he smiled. She smiled and agreed, and then walked back to the house to come back 5 minutes later wrapped in a towel. The two of them sat in the water. Naruto had his arm around her and he was almost asleep. Hinata saw this and thought that she better tell him soon. After all, he deserves to know. Naruto-kun, I have something to tell you. He woke a bit, he mumbled groggily. He became more alert and looked down and said, why didn't you tell me? What do you mean, Naruto? He held his hands up, they were waterlogged and wrinkly. I almost fell asleep here, man, that would have sucked if I really did. Hinata blushed and smiled a bit as he got up to towel himself off. She said, Naruto, I went and saw Sakura today and I found something out I have to tell you. Yeah? He asked as her wrapped a towel around his waist again. Well, she started, I'm pregnant. Naruto froze. She was waiting for a response, but after a moment he made none. He stood there with his back still to her. Naruto-kun. He slowly turned back to her to see her standing there with a wrapped in a towel. He had an odd look on his face, she could not place what it meant. What was that? He asked simply. I'm pregnant. His eyes grew wide and a smile formed on his face. Ah, really? She nodded quietly. He quickly took her into his arms. That's great news, Hinata-chan. His face grew concerned. Do you think it best if we kept this quiet this time? She nodded. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But we should tell our closest friends, my family as well. Yeah, he said as the two of them walked back into the house. He stood there panting. He was so exhausted but pleased with himself. I did it, I finally did it. Another man sat there smiling. There were scrolls and notes laid out before him. I knew you could learn it, that you could figure it out. You seem to have picked up your father's knack for seals. The first man sat down in front of his senpai. Naruto-senpai, are you sure it was okay for me to learn that technique? I mean, it is your family's ability. Naruto chuckled. Kawazu, the technique can be passed on. It may take a while but it can be learned. He paused a bit, and trust me, it will come in handy in the future. Kawazu woke up. He blearily opened his eyes and looked around the inn he was staying at. Why am I dreaming of that? He wondered. He got out of bed and decided it was a good time to bathe. Making his way to the shower, there was a puff of smoke in his room, and when it cleared, in its wake sat a small orange frog. Hey boss, the other boss has a message for you. The frog said. Kawazu bent down to the frog and undid the clasp on the pouch that the frog had slung on its back. Reaching in, he pulled out a small scroll. He unfurled the scroll and read through the instructions. Wow, I hope that they really did that on. It looks like I need to set off. I am about 2 weeks of travel from that village. He said mostly to himself. The frog responded, yeah, I guess so. Say boss, you got any snacks? Kawazu chuckled, yeah, I have some chips in my bag. Help yourself, I'm about to take a shower. Cool, thanks. A week later, back in Konoha, Naruto was pacing. He had a look of concentration on his face and was seemingly contemplating something very important. Finally he threw his hands into the air, exasperated. Well, I'm at a loss. I can't think of anything at all. Naruto-kun, said Hinata. Perhaps it is too soon, after all, we don't even know what it will be. It is too soon to tell. I know, but still I hope that we can figure it out, you know. He sighed. I want to have a couple options, but there can be only one choice. She smiled. It may prove to be a difficult choice, Naruto-kun. But I'm sure that we can make it. Naruto smiled back. Yeah, I know. He looked around a bit. He asked, so what do we have so far, Hinata-chan? She quickly consulted a list. Well, if it's a boy we have, Mikoto and Naito. And if a girl it would be Kure or Kui. Naruto nodded. Well, I guess it's true that we have some time before we have to be sure, right? Yes. He leaned back on the couch and Hinata joined him. He stroked her hair as her head lay on his shoulder. So, he started, what did the girls say when you told them? She smiled. They were happy for us. His face grew a bit sad, and of course promised to keep it quiet this time. Yeah, so did the guys, Naruto said sadly. I wish I could know if it would be okay to let everyone know. He sighed. This must be how my father felt, only worse. Hinata looked up at him. What do you mean? I mean that, he had to worry about enemies, and me growing up with the treat of his foes always around me. He paused, but he would only worry about those out of Konoha, I worry about those in the village. He noticed that Hinata had a tear rolling down her cheek and quickly said, Sorry Hinata-chan, I didn't mean to pass my worries to you. I know, but still, to have to keep it quiet, it can get to be too much sometimes. She said. I'm sorry. She looked confused. For what? It is because I am the father. It is my FA. Don't you dare, she said so forcefully that Naruto was taken aback. Don't you dare blame yourself. I love you, and being with you is all I could hope for. As long as we are together and strong, then I can deal with anything. He smiled. Thanks Hinata-chan, I guess it was a rare moment of weakness. There was a knock at the door and Naruto stood, walked to door and opened it to find Hashi. Hello Hashi-sama, who are you today? Very well Hokage-sama, thank you. I was needing to speak with you too. He said, noticing his daughter standing behind Naruto. Naruto waved his father-in-law into the house. Come on in. Would you like some tea? Yes, that would be fine, thank you. Hinata and Hashi sat at the low table while Naruto went to the kitchen. He returned a few moments later with 3 cups. Placing them on the table, he sat as well. Hashi said, You know, you could get a servant to help around here. After all, things will get more difficult as Hinata gets further along. Naruto shook his head, blunt as always, Hashi-sama. No, the problem with a servant is that we want to keep this pregnancy quiet this time, and I don't know if it would be wise to hire someone to do so, not knowing if they can be trusted. Hashi nodded and Naruto continued on, besides, if more help is needed I can always do this. He formed his signature sign and a clone appeared in a puff of smoke next to him. Hey, could you go get some sugar for my tea? Yeah, sure, said the shadow clone. Naruto grinned at Hashi. They can be a bit snippy, but they are helpful. Plus I know that they would never turn on me or Hinata. Hashi looked a bit taken aback. You use an A-rank forbidden jutsu to do chores. Well, to be fair, Naruto started. They do make my life easier. And it's only forbidden due to the strain they cause on anyone with overuse, both mental and physical. As for me, I am really the only one that can withstand those effects due to my guest. Hashi stared for a moment and the clone came back, gave Naruto the sugar and disappeared. Interesting, he said simply. He then seemed to come to himself. Well, the reason that I came over to your home is that I wish to know what you plan to do. Know that Hinata is once again pregnant. Naruto looked at Hinata and then to her father. I'm sorry, but I am not sure what you mean, sir. Hashi looked uncomfortable, as though steeling himself for something unpleasant. I mean for protection. He took a breath. Based on what happened last time, I feel it prudent to ensure it does not happen again. Hinata looked close to tears and Naruto put his hand on her arm, reassuringly. He shot a very small glare at Hashi. Thank you, Hashi, for upsetting her, he said sarcastically. We have thought about it and feel it would be wise to keep the rest of the village, aside for a select few, in the dark about this for now. Hinata was calming down and her father relaxed a bit. I am sorry if I spoke too harshly. I was simply concerned. Hinata wiped her eyes. It is okay, father. It may take some time getting over it. Hashi nodded. I understand. It must be hard to deal with. But onto the reason I am here. While keeping it from the villagers and others may be best for now, what are you going to do once she is clearly visible as with child? Naruto had no good answer to this. He shrugged and said, I'm not really sure. I don't want her to not leave the house for that time, but I can't really think of anything else. Hashi asked, what about bodyguards? Hinata spoke up, you two make it sound as though I can't take care of myself. She sounded a bit irritated. Naruto waved his hands frantically. I never meant to imply that, Hinata-chan, but, he trailed off. But what? She asked. Hashi continued for him, while you're now capable, given a few months, adding too much strain might be hazardous to both yours and the baby's health. Hashi grew almost depressed looking. After all, that is what happened to your mother. Hinata faltered. I see. Hashi continued, both myself and your husband here, he said, motioning to Naruto. We want what is best for you and the child. Naruto nodded his agreement. The way that you say it, Hashi-sama, bodyguards seem to be the best option. But I can't just assign a couple of Anbu to Hinata, and there are 2 reasons for this. The first being, to others it would seem I am doing it for personal reasons. The second is that I still don't know who I can completely trust. There are only 2 Anbu members that I have 100 faith in. Hashi completed it for him, Kakashi and Sai, right? Naruto nodded and Hashi went on, then allow me to offer 2 of my own personal guard as her bodyguards. I can assure you, Naruto-sama, that they would be loyal. Naruto nodded, I guess that would be okay. He paused and looked at Hinata, but it is entirely up to you, Hinata-chan. Hinata seemed to think about it for a moment. Very well, I seem to have no choice. Naruto was in his office working over possible locations the spirits may have settled with Shikamaru. Shikamaru sighed and leaned back in his chair. I'm wondering something, Naruto. He said. Naruto looked up from his work. What's up, Shikamaru? Why is it taking so long for Kawazu to get back to us with confirmation that the Mizukage's men dispatched the 3 tails? Naruto thought a moment. Well, we don't know where he was at the time. It may be taking some time for him to get to that village. But that doesn't make any sense. Shikamaru said. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Well, he started, I've seen what Kawazu can do. He uses the frog summoning and they can transport himself almost instantly to a place far away. Naruto considered this. You know, that is a fair point. The way that it works, only Kawazu can do it. The contract that I signed over to him was for uses with the frogs. He sighed. I can still summon them, but I can't use it like that. But you have used it, Shikamaru interjected. When the one-tailed attacked Suna, you traveled that way. Naruto shook his head. I guess that I should explain how it works. The frogs can transport themselves, small objects, and the one that they consider the frog sage. I didn't send myself, I sent a shadow clone. My clones are similar to me in looks and actions, but they are essentially empty. They have form and substance but no real life. They are pretty much objects and weapons. But that still does not explain why Kawazu didn't just send himself there. Shikamaru said. Yeah, you're right, it's almost as if he. Naruto's face had a look of dawning comprehension. He must have not set up an entry point. What do you mean? Naruto explained. The other side of the problem is that in order to, for lack of a better word, teleport himself, he needs to have been there before and set up an entry point. The entry point is somewhat similar to the seals on my tri-pronged kunai. It is there to make sure that he ends up where he should be. Kawazu himself is pretty much a living entry point. The frogs will always know where to find him. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Shikamaru said. Naruto chuckled. You know, Shikamaru, I thought you were smart. You should have figured it out before me. How do you expect me to figure something out when I have absolutely no information as to what is going on? I may be intelligent, but everyone have their limits. Relax, man. I was just messing with you. Naruto calmed down and then started laughing again. What is it this time? Shikamaru asked, getting a bit annoyed. Kawazu must be feeling like an idiot. He already has traveled to Hidden Mist. He must have forgotten to set up a point when he was last there. Naruto laughed. Many miles away, Kawazu sneezed for some reason. He was still traveling and cursing his absent-mindedness in forgetting to set up an entry point in Mist. He was traveling and tired, but he needed to continue. After all, his senpai needed to confirm this information. He suddenly felt a powerful force ahead, and decided that he needed to investigate. Staying downwind and suppressing his own power, in case this was another animal spirit, he made his way toward it. Consulting his map, he found his location and marked it. He found himself looking over a ridge down at a nude man. This man seemed to be acting in a very animalistic manner. It was creating a shelter, almost a burrow for itself. It was using its hands and tools, but Kawazu could tell it was just getting used to the body it was imprisoned in. This is very clearly a spirit, he thought, but which one? He moved away from the beast, slowly, very carefully, not to bring any attention to himself. He sat down in wooded area and ran the possibilities through his head. Okay, it is obviously not the 1 tail, the 9 tail, or the 4 tail. I don't think it to be the 3 tail, as the Mizukage said they it, and that one there was not acting very turtle-like. Cats don't burrow as far I know. What's left? What kind of animal might create a home life that? He thought about it some more and came to a realization. Okay, it can be one of the 2. It is either the 7-tail badger or the 6 tail, which I know nothing about. The dog 5-tailed doesn't seem likely, same for the 8-tailed snake due to the way it is acting. He was moving again farther from the spirit, still thinking. Well, if it is the 7 or 6, then I need help. If the tail determines their power, I almost S to the 4-tailed. I will stand no chance on this one. He finally got far enough away to use some techniques without it being felt by anyone. He did not want the spirit to attack, but he wanted to make sure it was still there when he came back with help. He pulled the scroll off of his back and unrolled a bit of it, placing it onto the ground. He ran through a series of hand signs and the seal that was on the paper glowed a bit. Before faded from the paper, lifting the paper it was still glowing slightly on the ground before that glow faded as well. Well, now I can get back here. I can dispel it afterwards, he said to himself. He then bit into his thumb. Drawing B, he went through another line of hand signs and put his hand to the ground. With a burst of smoke sat a small dog-sized frog. He said to it, I need you to take me to Konoha, the Hokage office. The frog nodded his understanding, and Kawazu transformed himself into a small scroll. The frog wrapped his tongue around it, and swallowing it, it disappeared. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.